Well, speaking of unbelievable stuff, what happened in St. Paul, Minnesota that's being pushed on Twitter is just astonishing. I've seen videos like this, and we need to cover it because it's so ridiculous. So you had a disturbing video that took place again in Minnesota that shows these diaper-clad black toddlers cursing and attacking police officers. I'll show you the clip in a moment. It is baffling that stuff like this happens. alphanews.org, who posted the video online, said it was shot as the officers attempted to execute a search warrant for a murder suspect. So you're not like pulling anybody over, not, going after somebody for having a cigarette on the side of the street or jaywalking, like the Black Lives Matter, like the push. Oh, you just pulled somebody over for no reason. A search warrant that they had to go get from a judge to go after a murder suspect. So these two toddlers can be seen punching, kicking, cursing, and throwing rocks at them, telling them to F off, calling them bitches, and punching them. Folks, when I show you this, it's just going to make your blood go. It's going to make your blood go. Let's go ahead and roll it.
I'm frying his ass. His deep fried Oreo head ass.
I bet when I go one of them in a fry pan, they ass won't burn.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that the craziest thing you've seen in a while? Where's Black Lives Matter on this? Where are they at? Where are Democrats on this going, hey, that's bad? I mean, it's blowing up on the news. It's not like this is just, I found it, right? I didn't have to look hard. It was trending. So this is the stuff that Black Lives Matter supports, that they're all for. They want police officers to be treated like this. For some reason, people are baffled that something like this is happening, where I'm going, as a teacher, this happens all across the United States all the time to teachers. Like, if they're willing to do this to police officers on camera, can you imagine how they're treating teachers in the classroom with no cameras, with no parents around them? I did a story about a couple months ago on Prince County. I think it's called Prince County in Las Vegas or in Nevada. And they had about 1,300 arrests and citations in one school year alone. And it wasn't even the end of the school year. I think it was January, February that we covered that. I got a couple buddies that work in that county, and it's just rampant where people are being shot or potentially stabbed. I had a friend years ago get stabbed in Long Beach, California, working in Los Angeles County education system. This stuff's wild. And it's like, I'm being dead serious. It is rampant. And they say like racist things to a black officer. Did you hear what they said? Calling him a deep fried Oreo head? Like that's acceptable. But you're not going to see Black Lives Matter stepping in. You're not going to see them caring about this situation here. And it doesn't even have to be about race. This is just a lack of parenting, a lack of values. And these kids are going to grow up attacking police officers, potentially committing heinous crimes. It goes down to the parent level. And it makes you wonder why those kids are out there in the first place, not wearing clothes, not wearing shoes, out there on the side of the street harassing police officer in the first place. Where's the parents on this? Where's those around them that are supposed to be protecting these children and actually inculcating values that are going to allow them not to do these types of things? They should be excited to see police officers. They should be friendly, but they're not, because you have the left-wing media outlets pushing defund the police. You have people like Maxine Waters, AOC, Ilhan Omar, half the Democrat Party wanting to defund the police, pushing all this negative propaganda out about them. So now you got little kids growing up, an entire generation like those kids that are harassing police officers, hitting police officers. Just put yourself in the little kid's shoes when you were tiny. Would you ever fathom to hit a police officer or cuss at an officer? Let alone just an adult in general. Would you ever just hit an adult or cuss at an adult? Like, if I ever did anything like that, my parents would hit me so hard my head would spin. So I'm baffled that, some people are baffled, but it's just sad to see the state of where we're at as a society, because these kids are going to grow up, and these are the kids you see on TV fleeing from the police, not pulling over on a frequent routine traffic stop because they didn't turn on their turn signal, or they did what we call a California roll at a stop sign where they didn't stop entirely at the stop sign. So they get pulled over for that, but then they run, they shoot at the cops while they're on that chase. Then they get out of their car, either pull a firearm on the cops or shoot the cops, or they get killed. And then Black Lives Matter throws their hands up in the air going, what the hell? He had his hands up. He said, don't shoot, as he's freaking firing at the guy. Where are they at? They're not anywhere to be found. That's the thing, because they don't care. They want your money. so that they can go buy their $6 million mansions or ever how much it costs in white neighborhoods, the same white neighborhoods that they hate because they're Marxist. They're known Marxists. They literally said so themselves. So they want to go after all these people, yet they want to live amongst them. So the police could be seen trying to calm the children, reaching out to them, only to have the kids lunge and hit them. Honestly, I'm really surprised he just didn't like push him over with 2 fingers and just like get away from me. But like I said, this stuff's going to be okay. They're all for it because they don't like police officers. So you had some people commenting on that thread on Twitter saying, these are not parents. This child has so much violence and hate that I don't think he has ever had a person read to him, cook him a meal that he can rely on daily, give him a hug daily. He has only seen ugliness and can't imagine how he is spoken to and beaten daily. This he knows. I mean, I don't know if this Christina person knows more than I do in terms of him being beaten. I didn't see any bruises or anything on that. I think this person maybe kind of has a different idea of what's taking place. I think the parents talk a lot of crap on cops. Clearly, they're probably criminals or do something bad because they're literally there for a search warrant for a murder suspect. So things aren't going all okay in the first place. We don't know if he's being beaten, but I mean, he needs a little bit of an ass whooping, I'll tell you that much. So much rage, that's normal for a kid. Also, not normal out on the street, unsupervised in underwear. 100% agree. Neglected, abused, and totally berated of hope. Why are we as a culture accepting this? And how do we turn it around? No child should live like this. Well, look, you can't spank your kids like we grew up with. When I did something wrong and Papa found out, that hand on the behind definitely set me straight real quick. My grandma walked around the house. My grandma grew up in World War II. My grandfather was in Pearl Harbor on the USS Reed, and she walked around the house with a belt around her neck. So you ain't messing around with that. You can't do that nowadays, because then you get child services on you. And I'm not saying you got to hit the kid. I'm not saying you got to abuse the kid. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not for that. And I'm not saying every kid needs to be spanking. Some kids will look at their parents and go, "Oh man, I let you down. I'm sincerely apologize." But some kids do need a whipping. I'm not saying you got to beat the piss out of them or anything like that, but a little spanking or whatever, straighten the kid out. But that kid, I hope he figures things out in life. That's all I can hope for, because treating police officers like that, it's sad. And that's where we're at as society. That was tweeted by True Science saying this is really sad. I mean, I think that's spoken by all people that watch that. And you feel bad for police officers, and that's why they're having a mass exodus of police officers and teachers. It's because of the way that you have the general public speaking about teachers and police officers in terms of, harassment or things that they say. It's always their fault. It's never the student's fault, or it's the administration's fault, but it's never the parents' fault. Whatever it may be, both sides are to blame at some point on certain situations. But that's enough that I have to say about that. That's coming again from St. Paul, Minnesota. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.